It's the Eagle Community Television Forum with your host, Gary Shorman.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Forum here on Eagle Television. I'm Gary Shorman, and the program's brought to you by Hayes Med. Our guest today is Eric Burks, who's the president of NCK Tech. And Eric, good to have you here.
Good to be here, Gary.
You know, last time I was looking at the records, last time we were down at our Dillon store location, and there were carts going by. Now we're in the studio. It's a little quieter
It
here.
is a little quieter, you know, but I don't get to scope out what I'm going to have for supper either.
Yeah,
so.
You can't stop by and pick up some bananas later on.
That's right.
Eric, good to have you here because NCK Tech has just continued to grow since that last time we talked. You have some cool things you're working on right now. But first off, let's talk about the school year because a few months, probably a few weeks, graduation plans are already in place and what's going on. What's happening at the school this semester?
Oh man, you know, after we get past spring break, it just goes really quickly. But yeah, so like you said, we're getting prepared for, we've got graduation coming up in May 11th here in Hayes, and so we're excited for that. We'll have a whole new set of employees. As I like to tell the Board of Regents, you know, the bad thing about our graduation is that some of these kids can't attend because they can't get off work in order to attend their graduation. And if you're familiar sometimes with the challenges college graduates have in finding work, our students don't have that problem at all. They've got jobs lined up and are ready to go to work before they even graduate.
Well, tell me a little bit about that because I know the graduation percentage is one of the highest in the country.
It is the highest.
These kids coming out and getting a job right away. What more can you ask out of an education? Oh,
exactly. Isn't that why mom and dad are sending them there so that they can go out and support themselves? And it's not always traditional students. We have non-traditional students, of course, too. But that's the end game for all of them is that they want to find employment. And so we have the #1 job placement ranking in the United States for the second year running. And actually that's based off of 10 years worth of data. So it's not just something that we had a really good year or two. This is something that we've continually done a positive job at. And so I get calls from folks saying, so where's your placement office? And I said, well, we don't have a placement office. The secret is, and it's no secret, we train in things that are in high demand. I mean, tell me where you don't need a carpenter, a plumber, a nurse, a welder, all these things. These are very high demand skill sets that people are looking for. And our biggest problem is we can't get them to them fast enough and we can't produce enough of them. But we definitely, there's a high demand for them. And the other thing is our instructors have a great connection to people in business and industry who are looking for exactly these types of folks. But we don't have a placement office. They just, most of them are swept up and have a job before they even graduate, like I mentioned before.
I know you had a job fair a few weeks ago, and even that was swamped with people.
Yeah.
I remember there were 20-some companies in there talking to your students.
Yeah, and that's, again, our biggest problem there is we didn't have enough space. We took a survey to find out what was it that we could do better, and they said, we need more room, but that we're packing them all into this place. And so, yeah, these companies are hungry for students that are coming out of these 1- and 2-year programs, and they're paying them pretty well to come out and work for them to do all these different types of skill sets. So.
I know one example is welding, and you just had some welding competition going on where you were involving even high school students in some of that, correct?
That's right.
How did that work?
It works fantastic. I tell you what, that was a contest that was actually held on our Beloit campus. But our welding instructor has, again, great connections to business and industry, and so we've got Miller and Lincoln that are both providing welders, and we've got people that are donating. I wish I could name all the sponsors. I didn't bring that list with me, but we have so many generous advisory board members that donate the wire and all the prizes and all that. So we hold on Thursday, we hold a high school competition where they come. Am I saying that right? It's actually Thursday is the college competition to where the college students compete against other colleges around. I will mention that we, for several years running, have really owned the top 10 in that welding competition. But then the next day we have a bunch of high school students come in, and this year we had about 120 that came in. And of course these companies are anxious to meet these kids because that's the next group that's going to be coming through. We're anxious to meet them also. And the kids have a great time and get to kind of see where their skill set ranks against others. And there's over $10,000 worth of prizes that are given out at these things too. So it's a really neat event. A lot of great support from a lot of companies.
When you look at how that, welding, just use welding as an example, the companies that are looking for welders are finding few of them. You're providing them already trained, already at the top of, they're not perfect, but they're at the top of their field in a sense of going through the training, making that happen.
Right.
That happens in plumbing. It happens in many of the other areas, nursing, some of the other areas that you're also doing education.
No, that's exactly right. And again, I mean, they are still coming out at a certain level. They're not coming out at 10-year veteran status because they haven't worked at it for 10 years.
Or a specific job that they're working in.
Right, exactly. But at the same time, these students are well trained by people that have been out on the job and know what they need to do. And one thing that a lot of times I try to make sure our legislators really understand, and people in general, these programs are all advised by people in business and industry. So we don't sit around a table somewhere and just decide we're going to decide to teach them this process in welding or whatever. You know, there's an advisory board for each one of our programs. We have several people from Hayes and several people from Beloit, from companies that represent them that say, hey, we really need employees coming out with this skill set or whatever. So that's both to let people know that how the curriculum's developed, and it's also to let them know if you're not coming out with the right skill set, ask us about getting on the advisory board, because we'd love to have more people helping us understand what it is that industry's really needing to meet their needs. But like I said, right now with our placement rates, I think we must be hitting it about right because these students are getting jobs.
How many students do you have, and where do you go to recruit the students?
Well, we recruit the entire state of Kansas and southern Nebraska, some of eastern Colorado, and even a little bit of western Missouri. We have there's a lot of ways to gauge students. So if you just talk head, exactly. So all the So head count wise, we have about 1,200 students. So that means one student taking a course doing anything. Could be online, could be concurrent, could be full-time program. The ones that we really think are our bread and butter that we focus on are full-time program students, and we're usually in the 500 to 525 range is where we're at with that. So
well, it's fun to see the program grow like it is. You have a couple of projects that you're working on right now. One is your house project.
Yes.
What's the story behind that, and what's taking place this year? Because you guys build a house.
We build a house. In fact, we build two houses. We build one on the Beloit campus and one on the Hayes campus.
Start with one, just keep our iron going, right?
Exactly, exactly. And so what a better experience for these students that are wanting to learn how to go out and build houses than to actually do that. And that's one of the things that we're able to attract students, and when we talk to them, that's the number one thing that they like about our programs. You're not spending a lot of time in a classroom hearing somebody tell you this is how you build a house. You're actually going out and you're putting your hands on a hammer, and these days, and you know, it's going to be a nail gun, but they're going out and they're doing the work themselves, and so they're building a house that they start from the very beginning and design it themselves, and it's a great process because they'll all design their own house given the same footprint, and then they kind of say, okay, well, I kind of like your part of this and my part of that, and of course the instructor, he knows what's going to work and not, so he kind of helps guide them. But it's amazing in that same footprint how many different designs come out of that each year. It's always fascinating to me and fun to see what they come up with. But we then turn around, and of course the nice thing about it is we can sell that house then, and so recoup the cost that we have in building that, and hopefully provide a really super nice house for somebody that's going to be here in the Hayes or Beloit area. Or quite frankly, they pick them up and move them off our campus so they can go anywhere. We've had them go all the way out to Hoxie, and I think out Lake Perry as far east, and some up in Nebraska, and so they kind of go all over.
That's cool. And then it's going to be an auction, so somebody can go online. Do they find that out on your? How do you find out if you want to bid on that house?
Go on our website.
If you need a house, here's maybe a good option. Yeah.
We've got two. So we've got the one that we're selling here in Hayes. Bob Munch is handling that. He's been a great supporter of the program, and we really appreciate bringing him back into the mix with this. He's going to sell the house, and so you can go to Bob's website, or you can go to our website at nckTC.edu, and you can just click under the carpentry program, and you'll see the information there about the house.
And when is that going to happen?
That's going to happen in May. I wish I could.
You don't need an exact date, but sometime in May.
It's on the website.
Yeah,
how about
you can find that? I like that idea. It's in May, so if you're interested, I certainly both campuses, you could go by, take a look.
That's right.
And see where that is.
Yeah, and we can schedule visits, and you can come tour it way before, and they've got pictures and things online that you can see, and also a floor plan so you can see what the house is going to look like.
You know, I've been looking forward to this, mainly because you have a program you're doing that deals with veterans.
Right.
And there's so much excitement about the regular program. We're going to take a break and come back. You guys are doing some cool things. You've been doing this, but really that honors veterans, and we'll talk about that when we come back with our guest, Eric Burks, who is the president of NCK Tech.
Hayes Med is your first and best choice for healthcare. They're the only facility providing tertiary level services in this region. With more than 70 physicians and 26 specialties ranging from heart, orthopedic, spine care, cancer, obstetrics and gynecology, wound care, rehabilitation and surgery, including the Da Vinci robotic surgery, Hayes Med is your comprehensive health provider for people throughout Western Kansas. Hayes Med, helping people be healthy.
Eagle Communications is your ultimate business partner. We provide business class phone with customizable features and fast, reliable internet. Your knowledgeable team at Technology Solutions has a broad base of IT services to meet your needs. Let the experts at Marketing Solutions get your message to the right people on the best platforms. The only piece missing is your business. Call Eagle Communications today at 877-61-EAGLE.
Hi everyone, this is Gerard Welbrock inviting you to join us for Tiger Talk. We record it over the noon hours, Mondays at Old Chicago, north of the interstate in Hayes, and play back at 6 o'clock Monday nights on Tiger Radio Mix 103. You can also catch it on Eagle TV's channel 14 and 614, Tuesday and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m., and always on HayesPost.com. So join us for Tiger Talk over the noon hour Mondays at Old Chicago.
Welcome back. It's the second half of the Forum program. Our guest, Eric Burks with NCK Tech. Forum is brought to you by Hayes Med. And a reminder, if you have a suggestion for a program, somebody you'd like to see here on the Forum, let me know at gary.shorman@eaglecom.net. Eric, we were talking in the first half about all the good things that are happening at NCK Tech. But one of those that we didn't highlight and want to before now and the end of the program is your veterans program. You have an honorary veterans program that's really had some cool storylines develop over the years. Tell me a little bit about that program.
It really has. We had developed this, and I want to give credit where it's due. Clark Coco, our previous president, he actually came up with the concept. His son is a veteran, and he had veterans very close to his heart. And so we started to where we honor those veterans who, let's say that a lot of veterans that after the war that they served in, they came back and they went straight to work. And so they've acquired a lot of the same technical skills that we train in every day, but they've never been formally recognized for having that skill set. And so that's what this degree is all about, is to recognize them both for their contribution to the workforce, their contribution to military service, and to honor them for those skills that they may have learned in the military, they may have learned once they came back, but they don't have a college degree. And I will say that we've also had PhDs and everyone in between that has actually come and taken part in this degree. So it's not that if you have a college degree you can't receive it, but that was the design of it up front.
I know you've had a couple veterans that have just been excellent in a sense of what they did when they served in the military. And it was just one of those things, it's like, this is the right thing to do, and you saw that. Any of those specific stories you'd like to share?
And every year, and there's so many great stories that come from this. I mean, I've literally seen, as they're marching in, because they march into the music of their branch, there are guys that, I've heard them say, well, don't worry, we won't let anyone be left behind. And I've seen guys that this is such an honor for them, they'll literally crawl up on stage in order to receive this. They didn't want help. It's just amazing. A lot of World War II veterans that we've seen through this. That's just great always, is there's few and fewer of those around. But probably the story that sticks out the most to me is Private Matthew England. And he was, so some of the qualifications are that you have to be 50 years old, you have to be honorably discharged and have a DD-214 that indicates that. And unfortunately, this was an application that was of a 26-year-old veteran. Unfortunately, it was posthumous. He had been killed in the line of duty, or killed in action. And so his mother and aunt drove about 7 hours. This was on the Beloit campus, but drove because he had joined the military with the goal of getting a college degree. And this was the way that his mother was able to fulfill that dream for her son. So she drove all the way to our campus, went through the graduation ceremony, received it, and this sends chills down my back even still, but as we presented it to her, immediate standing ovation from the crowd for this mother who obviously had lost her son and would much rather have him there than have this degree. But she felt like she had finally accomplished what Matthew had set out for. And quite frankly, she got that degree and she left shortly after that, and they went back to Missouri where she had come from. But just a great story that we were able to help maybe get some closure for her, and also help Matthew reach his degree, even if it was not the way he intended it.
Well, that's a cool thing, and having a chance to, it's been a few years, but had a chance to speak to the group at graduation. There are a lot of people at your graduation.
There really are.
Family members and supporting that group of graduates that you have.
Yes.
So that's going to be coming up. I have down, that's coming up in May, the Beloit on Friday, May 10th at 7, and then Saturday, May 11th at 11:30 here in Hayes. So
that's correct.
Graduation's coming up. So that'd be fine. You might, if you look, I know you can go to the website and find out if you have some interest in attending one of those.
Absolutely, and we are still accepting nominations for the Veterans Honorary Degree, so you can go to our website and check that out as well. Just search for Veterans Honorary Degree, and you can nominate someone that you might want to honor through that. They come in, and again, they march into the branch music if they're able to. If they're not able to, we can wheel them up front or do whatever we need to do. But they go across the stage, and we actually present an award to them prior to the students receiving theirs. And I'm always amazed how many of our own students are also veterans as well. And it's just a really great way to honor those people, those men and women that have served our country and done it so well. So it's a great
quite cool.
opportunity.
Congratulations on all the cool things you're doing. There's one thing I didn't notice. I think you just also got nominated for, or won, second place in the nation in automotive training.
Yeah, that's right. Our auto technology programs are ranked second in the United States.
Wow.
The college overall by Forbes magazine is ranked #2 in the nation. So we're receiving a lot of positive accolades, and I definitely want to give credit where it's due. That's a tribute to all the wonderful people that work at NCK Tech. They all care about students so much and do a great job, and they're experts in their fields. And so I get to be the one that gets to talk to you and be the face of the college, but honestly, they're the ones that do the hard work and work with those students every day and do a great job.
Well, congratulations to you and the team on the success you've had. Congratulations to those students out there that are really making a difference for those of us in Kansas as they go forward as well. So thanks for being on our show. Eric Burks, the president of NCK Tech, has been our guest. The program is brought to you by Hayes Med and by Eagle Communications. Our community connected.